WROK. Good morning, everybody. Dave Schmidt along with Matt Nestor and producer Tom Warner. We're waiting for Snowmageddon to hit the Stateline area. And you know, our commercial said at the very end of the commercial, fun.
Yeah, we're checking that box here.
That's right. Right now it's time with Fun with Gordy. Our friend Gordy Casper. How you doing, Mr. Casper?
I'm very good. How are you boys?
Good. Did you listen to the whole show or did you take my advice?
Yeah, I just tuned in.
Attaboy. We didn't say too many bad things about you.
No. But I do love the girls' bowling segment. I tell you what, Matt hit it on the head. Bowling is big up here.
Yeah, it was the boys' bowling what we were talking about.
Well, I mean, it's, you know, I guess I'm correlating because a friend of mine has a son on the Guilford team, and they had a nice little year, too.
Yep. Yeah.
So you're good.
Can you bowl 248 average like Jacob Nims does from Harlem?
I tell you what, I can bowl 248 if I play 3 times.
I'm right there with you on that one.
Hey, well, you know, you like to do the nostalgia stuff. You're a big Hoosiers fan like I am. I did a story this week on the 1915 Freeport team. They won 100 years ago. How cool is Freeport's heritage over there? You know, they had Adolph Rupp that was the head coach over there. They won a couple of state championships back in the early days. And it's a pretty cool place to go watch a basketball game over Freeport.
You know, it is, Dave. The place is dripping with basketball history. I mean, how many places can say that they have Adolph Rupp as one of their former coaches? And if you go back and you look into it, the steps he took to get from Freeport to Kentucky weren't many. I mean, he went pretty close right after Freeport, right up to that big job, and not only the state championships 100 years ago, but they've had great teams all along. We've always said Freeport's always a sleeping giant you need to keep an eye on. And then now, Ryan Pierce is the head boys coach. Mm-hmm. Well, he's got a big hand in Freeport history for basketball because he took those girls' teams to state when they had Katie Norman and them.
Yep, yeah, he absolutely did. That's a team I've always wondered, you know, when they're going to bounce back. I remember, you know, back when I was in high school, they were always, you know, they never won the conference, but they were always like one of the top teams, it seemed like, every year. They always had, you know, so much talent coming through there. I'm waiting for one of those years to come back where they're just loaded and running over people.
Well, I tell you what, they almost came all the way back last Friday. Boylan, we played them out at the Pretzel Dome, and we had to hit, Cooper, our shooter, had to hit a three-pointer at the buzzer to beat him. That point guard, Giovanni Offerman, he is the real deal. I mean, he's way out there in Freeport, so they don't get a lot of highlights on the news, but he's easily one of the top 3 guards in the conference.
He's a good kid, too. You know, I've had a chance to talk to him because they're in our Stateline challenge that we do. Just a good kid, and he, you know what, he's not selfish or anything. He just goes out there and loves to play basketball.
He loves to play, and my favorite part about him is when he's smooth and he can do things and quick, but I love the interaction that he had with his head coach. I mean, they were really on the same page all night, and that's so key to be with your best player is to have a relationship with the head coach and be going for the same things. And I'm glad that we won and those types of things, but I felt bad that they came up short because they had such a great effort. But you can see what Coach Pierce is doing. Mm-hmm. We saw him down at the Pekin tournament, and they're building that thing back up, and they get some kids back into the program. They'll be right where they always are.
You know, I wish Alfred had another year with Pierce there. He's a senior because, you know, really the last couple of years, and I think that's why he doesn't get some of the recognition. He has to do a lot of things that probably aren't his strong suit necessarily. He's has to carry more of a scoring load. He can score, but, you know, he's good making plays for the team and getting other people open. And, you know, boy, I wish you could have another year with him because it does seem like Coach Pierce is doing some good things with him.
It's too bad they don't have fifth-year eligibility like in college.
I mean, redshirt him? We could redshirt him?
Hey, that's right.
Well, you know, his brother's not too bad either. Dimitri can play pretty good inside.
No, Dimitri plays, he played a lot of AAU with some of our Boylan kids, they were saying, and he's okay. And their lower level was struggling a little bit when we saw them, but there's 2 or 3 players that you can see could be good. So it's not that they're flooded with depth, but you can see if they develop, they'll be okay. And it's always such a tough place to play, especially when they're good. I mean, that pretzel bowl really fills up.
You know, and I think sometimes, especially in high school, sometimes the depth gets overrated. I mean, you look at Auburn, and I think every time I've seen them, they only play 6 players, but, you know, you obviously see how good they are. If you get the right mix of talent, I don't think you need to go too deep at this level.
Right. Well, there's, you know, a lot of ways to skin a cat, and you can go 10 deep and that, but like you said, at our level, at high school, if you can get the big two, like a Pittman and Porter like Auburn has, then you can fill in around them and have a really nice year.
You know, we were talking about the regional seedings of the girls that just did theirs in Class 1A and 2A. Yeah. And, you know, we always talk about how the sectionals in one place are everybody together and ours are all split up. Give us a good seeding meeting story. Can you do that? You've told me stories before, and I love it. You got one that you can give me without getting us all in trouble, Gordy?
Well, my first thought was I got to remember the FCC stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. We don't care, though. Go ahead and do whatever you got. We'll have Tom beep you.
So the one kind of cute story was Jack McCarthy, who is a very underrated basketball coach in this area. He coached at Belvedere for a long time. South Beloit was very successful in other places. But when he was at Belvedere, everybody was at the meeting with the head coach and their assistant coach. And then this is before the internet. You'd get up and you'd say a little spiel about your season, you know, and your positives and your quality losses. You know how you spin it that way. Mm-hmm. And then they would have their assistant coach go around and hand out papers and stats and all that good stuff while the head coach talked. And Jack gets up and he says, "Well, gentlemen," he said, "I would love to have my assistant coach come around and have give you papers, stats on our season, but I'm not afforded a paid assistant coach. However, I tried to get one of these 6 assistant principals that we have on staff to come and again hand out the stats, and they weren't available." So that's a nice little non-harming side story that just kind of the humor that goes on there about the seating meetings. But a lot of times the seating meeting stories aren't very funny. They're very
intense.
Yes, they're an intense situation or a I can't believe you did that to me after the meeting confrontation. So I'm glad that I have to go to too many of those anymore. Although I will say that I'm not in favor of just plugging in numbers on the internet for those things.
Yeah.
I do think you need to go into that room and meet, because it's too easy for two guys to our buddies to say, "All right, I'm punching you in at 4 and you get me at 2, or whatever the situation is."
They don't do that, though, do they, Gordy?
Yeah, right. They don't have to confront each other, because it is different when you're in the room and you have to tell, Duncan Reed at Rock Island, "No, I voted you 8, even because you deserved 8." You know, so I think that is something that needs to go back to before technology saved us from the world.
You know, they need to just seed the whole sectional as well in one seating, I think.
Yep.
You don't mind traveling? You don't mind getting on the bus, do you?
No, I don't mind traveling at all. We've had some where I remember coaching in Freeport one year. We had to drive all the way to Galesburg just for a seating meeting that takes 45 minutes. So, but that's part of it, and it's fun, and you get to go and see guys you coach against, and so they can be good things.
You know, February's here. We're winding down. Is it hard to believe it's that late in the season already?
Yeah, it did come up fast, but I know I was looking at our schedule for the Titans. Man, we got a hot February. We got the Bucks tonight to end out January, and then next weekend, boy, that's a thriller. We've got Auburn at home, and then the next night we're at Jefferson. And then I'd like to talk to somebody about that. and then the Jefferson game is the night they're going to recognize the coaches and the kids from the state team, because it's 10-year anniversary.
And that's you and Mike Winters, right? Are you involved with that?
Yeah, Mike. Well, Mike's the president of the Jefferson Alumni Association, and I know he's got he's got a unique role in it, because he kind of took over after after the passing of the president.
Karen, was it Karen Williams?
Yes, Karen
Yeah.
Williams.
Mhm.
I remember it was Karen, and what a tragic thing that was. So Mike's just kind of stepping up and leading. I think to help things along, but they're going to recognize it's not about Mike and I. It's about those kids, and I know Big Rob's coming back, and Fisher the point guard, and I think everybody except for Pat Nelson is what Winters told me. That Pat's way out in one of the Dakotas right now, but otherwise, I think almost everybody will come back, and that'd be great. Because you talk about Freeport history.
Hey, Gordy,
ago,
I hate to be nasty, but we got to go, Gordy.
That's fine.
Hey, well, I love having you on. You come on anytime, friend.
All right, I appreciate it. You guys have a great weekend.
Okay, hey, we wrap up another edition with Fun with Gordy. He's always entertaining. Isn't he?
Always a good time.
That's good. For Matt Nestor and our producer Tom Morris, Dave Schmidt saying we'll see you next week on the Stateline Sports Hour.